Hey,
Good morning.
good morning. We literally just woke up, made coffee, and now we're talking. And
Now we're talking.
yeah. So I was thinking today we could talk about building a new home and a new life.
Yeah, it's definitely exciting. I'm really excited to start on a new house and not live in this trailer.
Yep.
The trailer's obviously not ours. A lot of people ask why we don't paint this metal part, and it's just not ours. We have to paint the walls back white,
Mm-hmm.
so we're not going to paint that and not be able to fix it back to how it was.
Yeah, and technically they weren't even painted in the first place. We came in and kind of made it a little better. And if I ever learned anything from my parents, they always said, when you go somewhere, leave it better than how you found it. And so that's what we're gonna do.
I think the walls started as white, but then they turned yellow just from age. So,
Age and getting beaten up, but that's not the point of the story here.
We've talked about a few different types of houses that we want to build. Not a lot of people, but a few people mentioned since we're out here with the weather and stuff that we should do a yurt. I'm not sure with the humidity how well a yurt would be.
I mean, I think a yurt would be fine. I've just never personally been in one.
I've never either.
So I'm assuming it's just a large tent, is pretty much all it is. The only bad thing would be is hurricanes. We do get hurricanes down here, and in my lifetime, we've gone through 2 or 3 really big hurricanes. So I don't know if I'd do a yurt. Plus, I want to physically build it. A yurt, you kind of just buy a kit and put it up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, because it's a huge
tent
cloth thing. Yeah, it's a tent. It's a large tent. But
we've talked about building a tiny house more like a shed. We've talked about doing an A-frame home, more of a tiny house on wheels. I mean, obviously the possibilities are endless.
Yeah, we talked about a long time ago to do a cordwood house. That's kind of out of the picture at the moment because
it would just take so long.
Well, but we also don't have like a specific location. That's something you don't move.
True.
You just build it and it ain't moving. So those are some of the few things that we were thinking as far as like types of house. But are you about to say something?
Well, we even thought about doing a box truck tiny house, but as far as we could tell, box trucks that are any good are pretty expensive.
Yeah, you're gonna have to spend. You can't just buy like $1,000 box truck and expect to. It'd be perfect if you're never gonna drive it, but you can never actually take it out on the road and drive it because you have to. It just break down. But not just a physical home, building a new life here. I don't think we're expecting to stay forever. We may stay a year. We may stay just a couple of years. We're not 100% sure on that yet. We're going to kind of roll with the punches like we always do. And it's kind of like us coming out here to do the ranch rescue. We thought we were going to come out for 100 days, have a tractor, have all these tools and, this and that. And it came down to none of that. So we don't want to plan too far ahead. And I think that's more of why we're going to go smaller on a home and not huge, because let's say we want to, build a $70,000 to $100,000 house, and then we decide, this ranch life ain't really for me.
Mm-hmm.
Then that was a waste. But if you build a $5,000 to $10,000 house, you can get it done quicker.
And it's something that will always be here at
yes,
the ranch.
And it'll always be
to come back to.
A hunting cabin for friends and family if we ever decide to leave, or whatever the case may be. But I think what I'm personally most excited about is building the home from scratch. That's something I wanted to do from the get-go, but the first house we built, we didn't actually build the frame of it, the shell. We were in such a time crunch. We had to get out of our lease of our old house, and it was 3 of us, so it was a large house, so we weren't able to build it from the ground up. I just cannot wait to literally from nothing, from a overgrown field to a new home. I think it's gonna be pretty awesome.
I think my thing I'm most excited about is just having the home that's ours and ours alone. when we met, I moved in, he had already been living with Jared, and then when we talked about getting land and building a tiny house, at the time Jared wasn't a part of it, but in the end he did move out there with us, and we got a bigger house because we were all planning on living together, and it just didn't work out the way we originally thought. And so now it's kind of like a fresh start. We built the house. We kind of know what we want now and what we don't want, I guess, more. And we know what we can and can't live without.
Yes, and we learned that we personally don't need the real conventional kitchen. We don't need a huge 4-burner stove, big oven. Yes, it's nice.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't need it. We don't need a huge fridge. We have a mini fridge out here, and it's perfectly fine. Once we actually settle down, we'll probably pack it out a little more.
Maybe even just get one of those, still very small, but
apartment size.
Not even an apartment size. I mean, like those ones that are $300 to $400 that are maybe twice the size of the mini fridge,
Yeah.
But it has a little freezer and it has the fridge part.
But what really helps us, because we're out here, is a deep freeze. So we're lucky enough to have a deep freeze out here, but that's for the ranch. And so we'll probably end up buying our own. That way we can have our own meat and everything, for that. Because that's the huge part of what we do out here is try to live off the land. And when you an animal that you can get hundreds of pounds of meat off of, you can't use a normal fridge or freezer. Just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
But I think another thing that I'm very excited about, because it's been a while, we haven't had animals. We haven't had goats and chickens and stuff, and that is kind of one reason why I feel like we haven't really. I feel like we've been on this 100-day challenge, and it really truly feels like a challenge because we don't get up and we don't do our normal daily chores.
Mm-hmm.
We don't go feed the animals, and we had Grandma and Bam Bam and Lucy and all them, and Stainer. We miss Stainer a lot, but it's like they would come running up to us, and we can pet them and hug on them and feed them. They eat from your hand. Even the turkey and the chickens we can pick up, and the ducks we weren't able to really pick up, but it was just really cool having all that. And now we have nothing. We have some dogs and cats, but that's not your.
It's not like homesteading animals.
And so we also don't have a garden, and
yeah, I'm really excited to have those animals back, but also to be able to get animals that we never could before because we were on 2 acres pretty close to the city.
We can get some cattle, whether we get mini zebu. If you don't know what that is, look it up. It's awesome. They're great in the heat.
And that's what we prefer to get. And
yes. That way I can personally butcher them myself rather than having to send them off.
We can, if we wanted to, not that we needed to, we could raise hogs. We didn't have that opportunity in Terrell, but we could now if we wanted to. We could,
if we had goats and stuff like that, get a donkey.
Yes.
We never had a donkey because we were respecting the wishes of our neighbors. And I 100% agree with them that I think having a donkey on 2 acres would have been a nightmare.
Yeah. We could hear the donkeys from our neighbors from like way, way far off that we couldn't even see, but we could hear their donkeys.
So if we're out here and maybe we leave a donkey with, some of the cattle or whatever the case may be, they will kill predators. I've seen it. They will take out coyotes and stuff like that. So
we've even talked about getting horses.
Yes, I would absolutely love.
Not many horses.
Yeah, not many horses. Ones we can actually ride on. That way, we're not constantly having to fill up something with gas and go around. We can get on the horse. We can kind of do that. It'd be a relaxing, fun thing. But mainly to get around the ranch and, yes, a motor, you got to put gas and maintenance and all that. A horse, you got to feed and maintenance. It's the same, but totally different.
I think you would be able to hunt a little better if you were on horse because...
If they were trained to the gunshots.
Yeah, true.
But...
Or if you're bow hunting.
Yeah. I grew up riding horses. Not all the time, but me and Jared would just go down to my grandma's house right down the street, put the bridle in the horse's mouth and ride them bareback. And, we enjoyed that a lot. And it's just... There's a lot of things like that it's not just building a house. It's not just having the land here to do stuff on. It's literally building a brand new life. And we're close to my parents. Matt doesn't live too far away. Jared still lives. It's about 8 hours, but it's not that far. We've driven back and forth before. You know, her mom probably has never seen anything like this before out here. So for her to be able to come out and, you know, see it, especially once we have a little more stable, I guess, I think she would just freak out. I think she'd love it.
Well, and I think too, I'll leave you guys on this note, that being out here doing this 100-day challenge has definitely challenged Jason and I on a very personal level between both of us individually and together as a couple.
Mm-hmm.
And so being able to stay down here and not do a challenge that it's just a challenge, but to really more challenge ourselves to live and build and grow together as a family, and maybe even start a family.
Yep. So, and I'll leave you on this. Out here, you can look up and see all the stars. And if you're a Texan, the stars are bright. Or how's it go?
The stars at night.
The stars at night are big and bright.
You just butchered that Texan quote.
I don't know. It's funny though. Yeah, Jaylene didn't sing it.
You didn't even know the word.
I was trying to see if you would sing it.
I'm not even from Texas, and I know it.
Okay, we gotta get off now. I can't edit this out. But that was just some thoughts that we had about moving here and, you know, all that. And we literally, Jaylene woke up, hit the coffee, turned it on, and as soon as done, I said,
we both rolled out of bed.
yes,
and made
I said, let's do this. And that's what we're gonna try to do. I'm actually going to launch Coffee with the Crockers live to everybody now. We had it just on Patreon, and so we're gonna try to do it at least 5 times a week. Try to do maybe Monday through Friday, but it may not work out that way because it depends on what we do. But we're going to try to do 5 times a week. So if you guys like this, we have a couple of videos before this one that you can watch. That you can
thumbs up.
That you can kind of go back and watch while we start doing them daily. So guys, thanks for watching.
Feel free to subscribe.
Yeah, if you like this type of stuff, subscribe down the bottom. This is just something I think that Jaylene and I could do. It gets us motivated in the morning. It gets us productive, gets us going. It gets us talking. It gives us a chance to just sit down, relax, and drink our coffee.
And I know Coffee with the Crockers is not everyone's cup of tea because people have said it, but a lot of people were very upset when we stopped doing Coffee with the Crockers, so we figured why not. And as always, you guys, thank you for watching. If you have ideas that you would like us to talk about, topics and stuff, comment them down below, and we will eventually get to that topic.
Yep. So see you later. Look at these awesome mugs that we got from some of you viewers.